Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV. And today I'm going to be talking about the stories that we tell ourselves. The stories that we tell ourselves, which from a transurfing perspective are theories, right? Theories about ourselves and our environment and our lives, and how these theories become either detrimental or beneficial to ourselves and our intentions, and how easy it is to actually switch over when you obtain the ability to wake up in the moment. I see myself, I see my reality, I see this story is not serving me, my higher good, my higher self, my higher intentions, and being able to then use these concepts, use this knowledge to switch over and experience a better version of reality, right? Because about what I'm about to tell you, everything that I encountered, except for the really, really good stuff that actually happened, everything else was theoretical. Everything else was just in my mind. And I realized it and I thought, oh my God, this is so unbelievably valuable to transurfing practice. So I'm going to break it down for you guys and tell you my story, the two homeless dudes and the AirPods. And I think you're going to find it entertaining, but it's also going to be very clarifying practically of how we create our own realities simply by telling ourselves a story in our head. That's where it starts. Before I get started, remember to like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me. To enter my daily giveaway for my reprogramming stickers, Reality 2.0 on Teachable, link down below. Follow us on Facebook, and please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. We appreciate it here at TransurfingTV. So, the stories that we tell ourselves, the theories that we create, and then we gather evidence, information, and material from our external environment to support these theories, therefore creating that version of reality, highlighting that sector of reality, and experiencing that layer of reality, right? Vadim Zeland talks about this in the book when he goes over his story of the European town and the vacationing couple in the town square, and they're seeing beauty and architecture and people laughing, and they're on vacation and they're enjoying themselves. And then right next to them, in the exact same scenery, right next to them is a homeless guy laying next to a dumpster, and he sees an empty bottle of alcohol, cops looking at him suspiciously, no money, hunger pains, right? So all these characters in the scenario are in the same static reality, right? They all have the same set and decorations, yet both examples are experiencing reality in a very, very polarized kind of way, right? The interesting part of this is that we can do this just as an individual. We can experience reality just by the stories that we're telling ourselves in two very, very different ways. Either a lower life track way or a higher life track way, right? This is Reality Transurfing 101. So I live in a very interesting place. I live in a place that has one of the highest crime rates in the state, violent crime. So a lot of murder, a lot of, home invasions, and also there's an extreme amount of drug use. So I experience in my everyday life what I like to refer to as meth zombies. These are meth zombies, and they're kind of scary. They used to be people, but then they started using meth. And they became meth zombies. You can see meth zombies riding around, adult men on little girl bikes in my town, or just kind of walking around aimlessly. I live in an area. I actually live in one of the nicer areas in my town, yet it butts up against an area that's not so good. So there's a migration of meth zombies that move through. And I am going to call it out right now. I have become guilty of focusing too heavily on the presence of meth zombies, crime, fear, bad stuff in my external reality, to the point where this is my version of reality here, right? And I complain about it, and I tell my partner, I want to move. I want to live in a place that's safe. I want to live in a place where I don't have to worry about stuff getting stolen all the time, or worry about home invasions, or worry about this, or worry about that, right? So I sort of, this version of me, the version focusing on crime, fear, and bad stuff, sort of collided the other day with the transurfing version of me. And I realized in a very profound moment that I had absolutely been creating a version of reality that did not suit me or my intentions, based simply off theory, right? And I woke up in this moment and I saw myself, I saw my reality, and I decided in that moment that I was going to take action, and I was going to merge away from that version of reality, and I was going to create an entirely new version of reality where there was not only none of this stuff, but there was an abundance of help, safety, good stuff, nice neighbors, and that is now the reality that I'm living in. So what happened? Well, I'm calling this story The Two Homeless Dudes in the AirPods. So I go over to a college not far from my home to run with my dog each morning. It's really nice there right now because college isn't in because of COVID, but they're fully staffed with security. So there's lots and lots and lots of security, and I could sort of ease my mind about all of this stuff that, by the way, I had never actually experienced, but I was fearful of. And I could go over there and exercise, do my morning routine, and feel the presence of the campus security. So I go over there for my run, and I have a lot of phone calls in the morning. So I decide, since I lost my headset that connects to my phone, I was going to take my partner's because I had lost mine. And then I also took my AirPods backup, right? So I go over there. These are the ones that are connected, the ones that have the cord. And I had these in my pocket. So I go over there. I take the leash off my dog, where I put in a specific area. And usually I put my keys there, my water bottle, and I go and I do my run with my dog. And then when we're finished, we go back over and get our stuff, right? So I finish with all my workout stuff. We go over there. I put his leash on him, and I notice that these aren't there. And I'm like, what the hell? I set everything here. Why, where are my AirPods? So then I go about scouring my route, trying to find where maybe I could have dropped them. I didn't know what was going on. Like, did I have them in my pocket? Did I set them down there? And this little area that I set my stuff down, it was kind of tucked away. So it seemed weird, like somebody would come up and take them, right? So I go around and I start asking whoever's there, hey, have you guys seen any AirPods? No, we haven't seen any AirPods. I ask a couple. I ask a woman named Sherry, who I see walking every day, almost every day. And I ask a security guard, and he tells me, there were a couple of homeless guys over in that area. Maybe they took them. And I was like, that's it. The meth zombies got my stuff. I can't believe it. I can't even come over to the campus where there's security without meth zombies being over here picking off my stuff, and I left, and this was like the first day of quantum boot camp, so I was really sort of upset that like this was messing with my flow, right? This was messing with my vibe. So I go walk back over to my house, and I'm pissed. And I go in the house and I say to my partner, I'm tired of this town. I don't want to live here anymore. I don't like meth zombies stealing my stuff. I don't like feeling as though you've always got to be watching your back, right? And even at the campus with security there, it's not safe. So the next morning, and it bothered me all night, the idea that these things had gotten taken, right? So the next morning, I thought to myself, I'm not going to the campus anymore to run. It's not safe over there. I'm just going to stay home and do my exercise bike. And that's when it happened. Boom. I see myself. I see my reality. And I was like, hey, wait a second here. You didn't actually see any meth zombies, Renee. You didn't see any homeless people. In fact, you haven't even encountered any theft or violence or any of the stuff that you think is so abundant in your external environment. And now you're going to base your actions, you're going to take actions in another direction based off theory that really didn't even have any static fact there. I didn't even see these guys, right? So that's when it happened, and a massive spark went off, and I very, very much woke up to this story that I had been running in my head for a while, that this was an inhospitable place, that I was in danger when I go outside, that there was external threat, right? And I decided to just stop with the whole thing and create a new version of reality. So again, like I said, I had lost mine, so I was borrowing my partner's. I didn't have any other connector versions of the headsets, and then I, had believed that this one had gotten stolen, which then I decided to create a new theory to know I dropped it, right? So I asked my partner if I could borrow his again. I ordered some on Amazon. I ordered a set on Amazon. I said, they'll be here tomorrow. Can I borrow yours again? He says, sure. So I put my headset in again, and I decide I'm going to go over to the campus, and something else is going to happen. I'm going to create a new version of reality where meth zombies didn't steal my stuff, right? So I go walking over there with my dog. I see a landscaper that I've never seen before. And I say to him, hey, did you happen to see a little white AirPods case? And he goes, yeah, actually I did. It's over by the garbage can where you run. So I go over there, even though I had looked that previous day a number of times in that exact area. I go over there, and sure enough, right in the open, they're laying right there, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is absolutely amazing. Because if I had bought into this theory and decided to not go back to the campus anymore, I would not have experienced finding these and all that was to transpire after that. So I take my headset. I'm super happy. I'm overjoyed, actually. I'm beyond overjoyed. I feel as though I'm really starting to get this stuff right now. I'm really starting to understand that it starts here. It absolutely starts here. And if you're telling yourself a story that is not serving you or your intentions, essentially what you do is you block yourself off like with a wall. And this would have been me not going to the campus, right? This would have been a wall, and I would have stayed here, and I would have stayed here, right? So this, me going over and being like, I pushed through that wall, and now I found these, and I'm starting to disprove this stuff. And I'm realizing now, you've never experienced crime. You've never had anything happen to you that you truly need to be fearful now, right? You've never experienced meth zombies doing bad stuff to you and all this stuff. So then I get in the mail from Amazon the one that I purchased, and then there was another one, a free one in there. Oh my God, what the hell? So now I have 3, right? I had 0, now I have 3. So then I go over to the park yesterday and I'm walking around and I see Sherry, my wonderful neighbor here. She walks up to me and she says, "Hey, Renee, did you find your AirPods?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yes, I did. You wouldn't believe this." And I told her the story and she goes, "Well, I brought these for you." She carried these in her pocket for a number of days until she saw me again. And then she just gave these to me, right? She was like, "I know you lost yours." And I said, "Well, I found them now." And she's like, "Well, you can have them anyway. I have more than enough." So I went from having 0 to now having 4, right? I went from having 0 to now having 4. But again, her giving me these would never have happened if I had continued to act from this place. I would have walled myself off from that other version of reality, and waking up in that moment, seeing what I was doing and pushing through to the other side, I benefited exponentially, right? This is the stuff that actually happened, okay? Sherry giving me the new headset, that actually happened. The meth zombies doing the bad stuff and fear and crime and stealing and all that stuff, that never actually happened. Yet I was living that version of reality in my mind and subsequently about ready to act into that version of reality, which is the worst thing you can do. It's the absolute worst thing you can do, right? So now I know my reality actually consists of nice neighbor Sherry, other people willing to help, the guy that actually was looking out, right? The campus security, they are there. I never saw those 2 homeless dudes. I never saw them once. They were just, somebody had just mentioned them to me. So this is the real stuff. And this is the new information, material, and evidence that I am choosing to highlight and really focus on, that is going to help me transcend this place, and remain up here on these higher lifelines where my reality is good, my world's taking care of me, everything's going according to plan, and things are working out beautifully and will continue to do so with ease. This is exactly how it happens, everyone. So this is what I'm going to ask of you today. How are you doing some version of this? Either about your external environment, about current circumstances of the world, about yourself. What negative story are you telling yourself that may be primarily theoretical, right? You don't actually have any true factual evidence. You are just buying into a concept, buying into an idea, and then you are choosing to create that version of reality via you buying into that thing that may not even exist. This is absolutely like mind-blowing when you realize it. So the 2 homeless dudes in the AirPods, there was never 2 homeless dudes. There was only the AirPods, and there was only nice neighbor Sherry. And there was only help and safety and good stuff and security, campus security, right? And now I'm going over to my daily place to run and I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling so happy that I pushed through and I didn't accept this story, right? This is my story. This is not my story. So how are you doing this? How can you create a new story, a new theory for yourself today? And what do you think of my breakdown? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching my video, everybody. Bye.